mansion tax then. So this was heavily rumoured. I don't think it's probably bought in on property values as low as I thought it might be. And essentially, the Exchequer has said that it will affect the top 1% of properties in the UK, and it will apply as a surcharge paid alongside council tax.
Okay.
I think there were rumours that it'd be a levy and you could defer it and other things, and I think at the moment it's meant to be paid alongside council tax. Again, because it's going to be brought in 2028, I'm sure we'll have more consultations and more announcements. But the table below shows at the moment the value of the high value council tax scheme payment, depending on if your property is between 2 million and 2.5 million, you'd pay 2.5 grand, 2.5 million and 3.5 million, pay 3.5, 3.5 million to 5, you'd pay 5 million, and then anything above 5 million, you'd pay a flat rate of 7,500. It may be that those limits change in future. I mean, 2028 will be probably at the end of this parliament, won't it? I can't see it being accelerated because I imagine that there's probably work needed to be done in the background on getting those values updated. And then how they do that. But yeah, essentially, with clients that have got or will maybe affected by the mansion tax, that may accelerate their decision on potentially downsizing, or if the properties are big enough, they might be selling off portions of land, outbuildings, etc., to get them below that. I suppose we can react to that more when we see more of the guidelines of what's going to be included within this, essentially.
I think one of the things that stood out to me on this was I think they set out there. I think it'll raise about 400 million, which doesn't really
no drop in the ocean relatively.
I feel like compared to the issue, and you sort of hear a lot of people, well, the news or certainly LinkedIn, you hear a lot of rumours about people leaving the country, like the billionaires and stuff like that leaving the country. We're actually starting to see it now with clients.
Mm-hmm.
So where before it felt like a bit like, oh, that sounds a bit. I don't know how true that is, but we are generally seeing clients move to Portugal and Dubai. So it feels like the risk it's just going to accelerate that movement. And so less taxes being paid by rich people, meaning potential risk for the smaller businesses being hampered further down the line. So it's like I say, given the value it's generating, it feels like did they have to make that move?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
From the rumours that were before, I thought they were going to try and raise at least 1 to 2 billion from it.
Mm.
So I thought that the rates were probably about right, but I expected the top value property to be much lower.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's obviously consideration that values in London, you could have £1 million property and it may not be the stereotypical £1 million property that people think of elsewhere in the country. But then on that basis, when they set the limit so high at 2 million and above, there's only a finite number of properties that are in that range. Plus, I suppose, will that just dampen the values of properties because people won't want to pay it, and then less properties will fall into the band?
You've got to think it's going to have an impact, haven't you? Like, I know, I say the bigger properties, there's only a finite people who are going after them, and like I say, the appetite to invest in one over £2 million just took a hit. Again, what's going to happen if you buy a property for 2 million? If you own it for a year, will it have increased in value and therefore fall under the band? Like, again, it's going to be interesting one to decipher.
Definitely.